What's up, Tack Warehouse ICAST 2022, bringing you the first look at all the new products here in the Yo-Zuri booth. We're with our friend Brandon Carr. Brandon, how you doing?
Doing good, doing great.
Got a lot of cool new stuff. What's the first thing you want to talk about?
Yeah, got some great new topwater baits here. This is our 3D RX popper. So this is a 65 millimeters, just compact little popping bait. It walks really well, but it also pops really well too.
So with a smaller popper, is a situation where you use this one over a traditional popper bait, or where would you use it more?
Yeah, I would say lots of times, they're feeding on just smaller bait fish. So that's when I downsize, throw this bait. Sometimes early fall, you'll see a lot of small minnows. Be a perfect time to throw this bait. Also, what's cool about it is we have this scale pattern built in. We also have an internal prism. So as the sun reflects on this bait, it almost looks like it's moving when it's sitting still.
That's pretty cool. Very cool looking bait.
Yeah.
Like a finessey kind of little popping bait. And it walks pretty well, I'm guessing, or is it?
Yeah, it walks great. So you can kind of do more of an aggressive twitch to get it to walk, or do a little bit slower pull to get it to pop.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. What do we got up next?
Yeah, so we got this this new walking bait I'm really excited about. This is the 3D RX pencil, and this is the 75 millimeter bait. So this is like a little miniature version of the 3DB pencil that we've had for years. So we've had a 3DB a 100, then we've also had a 125, and now we have this 75.
So that 75, is that for you more kind of, again, matching the hatch, kind of smaller bait, different types of conditions, or where's the use case for when you pick up that guy over something else?
Yeah, this is a bait that I'm probably going to throw on spinning tackle. I'm going to throw it on light braid, make real long casts. I would throw this bait anywhere where I'm in real clear water. The fish are like heavily pressured, but they're still feeding on bait on the surface. So you'll be fishing around other guys that are throwing bigger walking baits. You can go behind them and still catch them on this little guy.
Very cool. So that's a 3D RX pencil popper, or pencil.
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 Yeah, it's a 75 millimeter.
From Yo-Zuri. Very cool. So we got one more bait also. This is the 3DR, or 3DB now, right?
Yeah.
All these series, I got to figure them all out.
Yeah, so this is the 3DB pencil popper, and this is our 110 size.
Okay.
So we've had our 135 for several years, which is a phenomenal pencil popper. We've caught lots of big fish on that bait, and this is just a smaller size that really fits a niche that we've needed.
So I guess situational, not just the size of bait, but for a regular traditional walking bait versus a pencil popper, like where would you use this pencil style bait and why over a traditional walking, walk the dog style bait?
Yeah, so I throw a pencil popper anywhere where the wind's blowing a little bit. It just makes so much more disturbance on the surface. As you can see here, there's a concave lip, and so it'll kind of walk in place, but it sprays water to each side as you walk the bait. So you can really just create a lot of disturbance. It also has a real big one knocker in the rear of the bait as well, so it's really loud. It splashes a lot of water. Anytime the wind's blowing, that's when I'll pick up the pencil popper and I'll sit down the traditional pencil. Okay. So
and they have that real cool little tinsel feather tail in the back there. It's not really a feather, but that tinsel style really has a lot of flash to it.
Yeah, it does. And so that's something else. You can, as I was talking about, you can kind of walk this bait in place, so you're not like covering a whole lot of water with it if you don't want to. But yeah, that tinsel flashing definitely triggers some great bites.
Very cool. So we got the 3D RX popper, pencil, and the 3DB.
3DB pencil popper 110.
All available for purchase right now on Tackle Warehouse. What's up, Tackle Warehouse? We're back here with our fellow West Coaster, Jimmy Reese. Jimmy, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Having a good time here at ICAST.
So what do you got first to show us today?
Well, let's start out with the Twitchbait. So we got the new inshore Twitchbait. Basically, they come in 4 different sizes. It's something actually new to the bass industry, I think, because there's no action like this. I got a funny story. I got introduced, they sent them to me at the championship on Mississippi River, and so I took it out of the package as practice. I fire it out there, and I'm working it, and it keeps sinking. I'm thinking this thing should walk on the surface like walking the dog, and I'm working it, and I'm like, dang, it's not working. but the action's pretty cool. And I'm like, all right, so cut it off and I put it on braid. Fire back out there. I'm thinking the fluorocarbon sinking it, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm twitching it. Keep sinking. I can't keep it on the surface. I got the rod tip up here. I'm working it. It's like, oh, forget this. So I take it, I cut it off, I throw it into the boat, put the rod away. Nothing. So the day of the tournament, before the tournament, I'm cleaning everything out. I see it. I see the box that it was in. I read it. And I'm like, oh, it says slow sinking twitch bait. And I'm like, oh, it's not a Topwater bait.
So Keys, you got to read the box before you throw it. You know what you're throwing.
That's my advice for you guys right there. So
what if you can't read though? I'm in trouble.
So anyway, so I tied it back on, and so I hadn't caught any fish on it.
Yeah.
But what happened is I found some schooling fish, right? And so I pulled the rod out of the locker, made a cast with this where they were schooling. You could literally see the shad right on the surface. They're just circling, and every once in a while a bass would come through. So I thought this would be the perfect bait to fire over there. Well, long story, little short, is I fired it over there. I ended up catching 3 of my fish that I weighed in that day on the twitch bait, and it was totally different than a jerk bait. Just the whole movement of the bait was like, oh my God, this thing's gonna do something.
So I mean, as far as the movement and how you, what is that kind of movement that makes it? How are you working? What are you doing to work? What do you have to do to impart the action on the bait?
So do I have to share this with everybody?
Yeah, or
okay.
just tack warehouse. No one.
Okay.
If you're not tack warehouse customer, you can't watch this.
So you watch a jerk bait and it'll dart. It'll dart, right?
Yeah.
This thing it's almost like a rolling motion.
Okay.
Kind of a rolling, and what it does, it turns on its side, so it's actually giving a bigger flash down.
Yeah. Okay.
So. And it's a rolling, and it's almost like slow motion. So you can still work it, twitching it, but it just rolls on its side like this. And if you think about that, that's when we see shad, that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
They're on their side like this, and that's what this bait's doing. It just, and it is awesome. The fish, obviously, never caught a fish on it, and I catch 3 fish on it in the tournament. So it's like. Pretty awesome.
And you're just doing a slow twitch with that when you're doing that, and
right.
Pause slack and.
Yeah, so it's same motion. I was playing with it. I was starting to learn what I needed to do, but I didn't have to jerk it hard. It was kind of a real tight, slow jerk.
Okay.
And maybe the second kind of a double jerk, but you didn't have to do a lot to it. It had a lot of action itself, but cool. It was a totally different action than anything else.
Nice. And it comes in 4 different sizes.
4 different sizes. I think there's like 16 different colors. So yeah. So and they come with good hooks, and so yeah, it's exciting because this was meant for saltwater.
Yeah.
You know, so the guys on salt, on the coast, the Gulf, they're using it, and all of a sudden here we are. Hey, try these, and so this is the real deal.
Yeah, very cool bait. Neat, something different, and that's a lot of times you need something a little bit different to set yourself apart when the bite's tough. And something like this is almost a whole new category of lures that not a lot of guys have. So you want to try something different, catch some fish, and separate yourself from everybody else. Maybe check these guys out. Yeah,
it's slow sinking, and it's a pretty slow sink, and so you can work it down a little deeper if you want.
Okay.
But it seemed like that top 3 feet. But I'm starting to think, winter time, as we learn more about this bait, that you can get it down there pretty deep, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a wounded shad when it's doing that. It's like.
That's pretty cool.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So. Very nice. So we also got a new jerkbait out, talking about non-traditional versus traditional. Some traditional style jerkbaits. Right. What are these?
So we got the 3DB jerkbait, the 110. You got the 110 deep. This is the 110 deep, and then you also have the regular 110. So basically traditional jerkbaits.
Yeah.
The depths are a little different. The 110 deep goes down about 7 feet, but the difference between our jerk baits and others is how they end up after when you jerk the bait.
Okay.
So you jerk it and the head ends up down. All right.
Okay.
So you jerk it down. You jerk it down, and that's how it ends up. So it's totally different than everybody else. So sometimes those fish just want to see different.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, the fish like to eat things head first, so it's an opportunity for them as well to come up and eat it, head first. So. The 110 deep, and then of course the 110, they have 18 different colors, sharp hooks, good hooks. You don't even need to change the hooks. So, and of course, they got the new scale colors.
Okay.
They're just coming out, so that's exciting.
Very nice.
So they look natural. So yeah, that's the jerkbait.
So very cool. So a couple of new, unique, again, something looking for something different, traditional style jerkbait, but has different, nose down presentation, and then also something totally unique and different with the 3DB Twitch, correct? Yeah. You don't want to throw this unless you want to do something else.
Yeah.
Very cool. So both these baits are available for purchase right now on Tackle House, so make sure to go check them out, guys. What's up, Tackle House? We're back here with our man, Dustin Wilks. How you doing, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Doing good, good. So we got a lot of new stuff coming out from Yo-Zuri, as you guys already seen, and some bunch of new more of the 3D RX cranks, vibes, and some minnows and stuff. So let's walk us through, I guess, the crankbaits first.
Yeah, this is basically a refresh of the line, so we've added a lot of new colors and new styles. First is a little shallow diver with a prism finish with an internal paint job, like a lot of the Yo-Zuri lures, so you catch a lot of fish. Bait still looks good, and they're very natural looking. So in these little lures like this, the real natural finish. So it's a little tiny crankbait. When the bite gets tough or the bait fish are small, this is your go-to. And then we've got a medium diver in the same little profile. And the medium diver, it's about 5-6 feet deep. And this happens to be one of my favorite colors, Prism Perch. And where I'm from, we have a lot of black water. The water's real dark, but still clear. And that color really does well around cypress trees. And I imagine this is going to be good anywhere you have any kind of perch that particular color. But that little profile does really good in that depth of water, that 5-6.
They're really cool color. I like that.
Yeah, I love that color. And then we have a new flat side, and this is brand new to this line, the 3D RX. And it's got a coffin bill, so it bounces off of stumps really good. And most of these baits, the flat sides, are really made for like kind of pre-spawn fishing or cold water fishing. But this one has a little bit wider wobble, so it's a more well-rounded bait. I actually like to throw this in the summertime for a flat side. So, bouncing off the stumps and rocks, and a lot of times it's my second choice. I'll throw a regular square bill going through, and I'll come back through with this to give the fish a different look. It also works good in the wintertime too, but I like it in the summer.
Is that something also like kind of dirty water conditions you kind of pick up a little bit, or?
Yeah, like the brighter chartreuse and the brighter colors in the dirtier water, and then the more natural colors in the clear water.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then we also have brand new is a deep diver 50, and this little bait almost has a rectangular bill and it's squared off on the end. And this bait is really good in rocks, and especially pre-spawn rocks. So, in the Midwest and all over the country, really, where there's rocks and lots of crawfish, and they come out when that water temperature is in the low 40s or so. These crawfish colors and this bait, on relatively light line, 10, 12, this bait's going to get down there, 8, 9 feet deep. Lighter you go, the deeper it'll go. Lots of good crawfish colors. So, you got a little bit of a chartreuse craw. We've got a translucent prism red, really nice color. And then a more traditional brown color. All these baits are going to work really well for you in the spring.
It's very cool looking crawback. I mean, especially in this style of crankbait, that's the craw colors, the ones that shine that time of year. And very awesome looking paint jobs, cool looking stuff, and again, the compact little body, but getting down nice and deep.
Yeah, it's a good little size. They're not going to see a whole lot of baits in that little tiny size like that. So, and a lot of times you're fishing that, the water's clear too, right? Coming out of wintertime, right before we get this spring rains, the water's clear, and that size works really well.
It's kind of unique design in the bill shape. There's anything behind that at all, or is that just kind of something a little different they came up with?
That's what the engineers from Japan came up with that, and it's a nice looking bait, runs really good. I can't wait.
Cool.
I've not personally used that bait yet because it just came out. So
yeah.
I've thrown it in the water to see how it runs, and it's going to be really good. It comes through rocks good.
I'm excited to try it.
Yeah.
So from crankbaits, we also got some vibes, correct? What's this one here?
Yeah, this is a 3D RX vibe, and it's a really, you notice the shape, it's almost round. So Yo-Zuri is really proud of their rattling vibe. It sells really well. It's probably the best lipless crankbait ever built because it's one of the first ones that had the shimmy on the way down. So you rip it out of grass and let it fall, it has a shimmy on the way down. This one's gonna shimmy a little bit slower on the way down, and it's got a little bit softer rattle. So if you need some finesse, you need some different colors, that prism finish. So I would use this when I want something more subtle, or if there's a lot of other anglers around. Okay. So just that
a
vibe.
unique kind of bait, and it has like that profile. It's really in the kind of.
It's really flat. It's really skinny.
Is that skinny? Is that what gives it that fall? What's
yeah, it's weighted at the bottom, yeah, and it'll have that shake on the way down. And this is not going to have as wide of a wobble. You see how skinny the bait is? So it's going to have a real tight vibration. Yeah, really good in cool water.
Is that something you're going to be throwing? I mean, more on the yo-yo a lot of times.
Yeah.
Or traditional, just kind of wind and stop, or
you can use this in any manner.
Yeah.
And this one, I like to pretty much just pump the rod up and let it fall, or if the fish are right down tight to the bottom, just kind of a slow retrieve on the bottom, and every once in a while pop it up and let it fall. So that works really good. And then this is another really good option for a lot of anglers. It's a 3DRX Shad 60, and this bait casts really well for a tiny little shad imitator. Lots of really good colors. And what impressed me most about this while I was testing it is you can really wind on it, and it's totally stable. So a lot of these little baits will get spun out if you reel them fast, but this one is really steady through the water. So I really like that, and you would think of this as a cool water bait also.
Yeah.
But schooling fish, because you can reel it so fast, I think it's going to be a good year-round producer.
Nice.
And this is the last of the series, a 3DRX Jerkbait. Very cool design. It's smallmouth fishing, spotted bass fishing, any kind of clear water largemouth. This is a very good option. Cover lots of water with it, and all the same really cool colors except for the crawfish colors. Yeah.
So they basically got you covered from the whole 3DRX line. It's a kind of revamp and a bunch of new changes. But from the crankbaits, shallow, the deep, all the way down the traps, and now in the minnow style jerkbaits as well. A lot of really cool stuff, and all these are available right now for purchase on Tackle Warehouse. Hey guys, what's up? Up next in the Yo-Zuri booth, we got our boy Mike Surman here. Local Floridian, correct? This is your home, where you're bred and born, yeah?
3 hours south of here,
Nice.
so live in Boca Raton, Florida, so not a bad drive to Orlando.
Very nice. So what do we got? Some new colors coming, and a couple new crankbaits, correct?
Yeah, we're really excited about the new colors, and these are the 3DB 1.5, and this is the square bill, and this is the medium runner, a little bit different. This runs anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 feet, and this will get down to 7 or 8 feet, so just a different lip. But this is, I'm really excited about. These two are really going to be good in the spring. This is our burnt orange craw, which is, my wife went to University of Texas. I really don't like burnt orange, but I love this crankbait and I love this color. This is the spring craw, and this is really going to be a great bait too and great color. But these, the whole pro staff have been all over the Yo-Zuri people about changing up, getting a few new colors. The Japanese guys really know what they're doing. They came out with some great colors, and we're really excited about it. And the last one of the three, again available in both the medium runner and in the square bill, is the greenback chartreuse, and this is going to be a really hot color too. All three of these we've been prototyping, and all the guys have been fishing, and we've been catching a lot of fish with it, so we're really excited about it.
Very cool. So the new, this color again was the green.
The greenback chartreuse.
So for you, is this like a dirty water situation, or when are you gonna be throwing this guy a lot?
Yeah,
probably,
usually so far that's what I've been throwing, a little bit dirtier water. These two a little bit cleaner water, and they've really been catching fish. So I mean, you got to try them. I think everybody's gonna love them.
So all three of these new colors are available in both the baits, available right now on Tackle Warehouse. Mike, we ended that one a little too early, forgot we got one more new product still available coming out from Yo-Zuri. What do we got next?
This is our white braid, and this is really going to be good, for the bass fishermen's 10, 15, and 20 pound test. The line, it doesn't fade. You can see it really well, and we usually tie like a T7, 6, 8, 10 pound fluorocarbon to this, and it really lets you key in on that real subtle bite. You can really see the white sitting up on the surface, and you can see the line just get a little tick, and so this is really exciting. It's super durable. You can see it really well, and very abrasion resistant, but really thin diameter, casts a mile, so I'm really excited about this.
So one thing I noticed as I was looking at the back of the package here, micro pitch braid. Do you know anything what that micro pitch is referring to, or?
It's just the way it's made. I'm not an expert. All I know is when the Japanese guys, the producers of this over there, the guys that actually know what they're doing, when they say this is the right stuff, I say it's the right stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been using this for a little while now, testing it, and I have not broken off. I love it. I love being able to see it. I've used the yellow high vis braid or the white braid, so I'm really excited about this. The great thing about this is it doesn't fade, and you can see it sitting on the water so well, and so it really is good in the bass market. It goes all the way up to 80 pounds. A lot of saltwater guys are using it too in saltwater, but anyway, it really is good.
So for finesse application all the way up to some super heavy 80-pound stuff, some guys probably might not go that big in the bass market. But hey, some guys are. These big A-rigs, big glide baits, they're expensive. You don't want to throw that $200 glide bait and be gone. So
no, that's exactly right.
So that's the new Yo-Zuri Superbraid White, available for pre-order right now on Tackle Warehouse.